the Oklahoma Newsroom, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we are brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. Go online anytime and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Barry, it's time for the inbox, and this week it's all about Billy Donovan and his potential landing with the Oklahoma City Thunder as the new head coach. Let's get right to it. This one from Curt. Curt says, how good of a coach at the college level is Billy Donovan?
You know, I actually think Billy Donovan's really underrated at Florida. I mean, sometimes it's hard to remember. He's been there 19 years, so just staying that long at an SEC football school is fairly impressive. But Donovan's 2 national champions, 4 Final Fours. I could argue that the best college coach of the last generation, I think he ranks number 4 behind Izzo, Krzyzewski, and Jim Calhoun in some order. So I think he's a top figure in college basketball. Does that translate to the NBA? Who knows? But on the college game, he's upper tier.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, is he perfect? No. I did a blog that also ran in the Thursday Oklahoman about his late game record, which in close games is not fantastic. But you know what? You look at his track record of going out and identifying players that will one day be NBA players. Barry, I think you blogged about that. 16 guys during his tenure. Some very, very good players, guys that are you know, all-stars and regularly honored for their play around the league. So obviously he knows talent, knows how to get those guys to come together. And, you know, I think what you said about being in the SEC, you know, it's not easy to win at a football-dominant school like Florida is. So I think the fact that he's continued to do that on a regular basis, he is a good college coach. But again, I'll echo what you said. Don't have any idea how that translates to the NBA. All right, back to the inbox. This one comes from Lou. Lou says, will KD and Russ accept an unproven coach like Donovan? A huge question here, Barry.
It's a very good question, and I think the answer is, who knows? The proven part is irrelevant. Proven coach, unproven coach, it doesn't matter. By December, they're going to know whether they believe in this guy. To me, that's the key, is not what his resume is coming in. It's what he shows as he progresses through a first season with the Thunder. If he's the kind of coach that says, listen, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this, this, and this, and it's going to work. And if it works, everybody's on board. If it doesn't work, you have problems. But I think Billy Donovan will be given the chance to win these guys over. If he proves to be capable, they'll be on board.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Now, I do think that there's there's sort of a different slice of this pie a little bit in that, you know, a guy that would come in with either you know, an NBA title already in his resume or a long history in the NBA, maybe that carries some credibility as they walk through the door. Obviously, Billy Donovan's got some level of credibility. Obviously, his long tenure at Florida, 2 national championships. But, you know, I think that may be a little bit of a different situation. You know, is Russell Westbrook going to listen to him right away? Is Kevin Durant going to listen to him right away? I think those guys will give him a chance, but other coaches that have different resumes would probably care. Kevin Ollie, for example, Barry, those guys would listen to Kevin Ollie, I think, differently than Billy Donovan. I don't know. It is going to be interesting to see, though, because he doesn't have that long track record in the NBA. All right, back to the inbox from Javier. Javier says, $6 million? Isn't that a lot of money for a coach?
Well, the answer is yes, it is. It's also a lot of money for a one-way shooting guard or a power forward that can't make foul shots. There's a lot of money in the NBA. $6 million would put Billy Donovan among the highest-paid coaches in the NBA. I think it would rank him in the top 5. The truth of the matter is, though, even here in little old Oklahoma City, piles of money are going to rain down upon our heads in terms of NBA payout with the new television contract. I don't think $6 million is outrageous. It doesn't step out of the bounds of the common economic structure if the guy can produce.
Yeah.
Now, if the Thunder goes 43-39 next year, there's going to be a lot of people inside Thunder headquarters saying, why aren't we paying this guy $6 million? But if they go 59-23 and you know, make the Western Conference Finals or the NBA Finals or win the championship, there's going to be people saying, you know what, $6 million is probably a bargain.
Yeah, to me, one of the more interesting aspects of this whole thing is that money has been such a non-factor in all these conversations. It wasn't so long ago that everybody was talking about Travis Ford and his buyout and wow, how much money that is. And that's not a factor at all when it comes to NBA coaches, Barry. I mean, there's been no concern over buyouts or what you've got to pay Scott Brooks or any of that. Everybody's just like, whatever has to be paid. That's not even a point of conversation. It tells you how different the league is from the college level, where a couple $1 million is a huge, huge deal. All right, back to the inbox for one last time. This one from Dow. Dow says, how much of a learning curve will Billy Donovan have to get acclimated to the pro game? Again, a great question, Barry.
And I think the answer is hardly any with the game itself. He doesn't need to learn how to use timeouts or the shot clock or 2-for-1 situations. If he doesn't already know that, it'll take him literally 4 minutes. Literally, I mean, that's how long it would take somebody like Billy Donovan to acclimate. Now, what's more questionable is when to practice, when to have shoot around. How much practice? How long do you practice? How hard do you go with these guys? How much rope do you give them? When do they need a day off? Those kinds of things I think Billy Donovan will have to learn and will have to rely on and lean on potential staff members. Yeah. But in terms of what to do during a game, that's not anything. He'll have that down. If he doesn't already, he'll have it down in no time.
Yeah, and I think this is something that we've discussed a little bit, but hasn't really come up because there's still the question of, is Billy Donovan the guy? But I think the question of assistants is a good one. The Thunder have not officially let go any of the assistants that were under Scott Brooks, and I don't know what the situation will be, but the Thunder, moving forward, if it's Billy Donovan, now it may not be the guys currently on staff, but they're going to need to make sure Billy Donovan is surrounded by guys that do have NBA experience, that he can lean on and say, you know, what about this? What about that? What about practice? What about how do I approach this guy? I think a guy like Mark Bryant is probably somebody that they would retain. He's done a really good job developing the big men for this franchise. It seems like he's likely to stay. Some other guys maybe not so much, but they would surely be talking to Billy Donovan about the fact that you just can't fill a staff as a first-time NBA coach with a bunch of other college assistants. They have to go out and get some guys for that staff that know their way around the NBA. And be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.